Well, hello folks. So, I've discovered something weird about Dishonored 2. So, I'm recording this now with a 30 FPS frame rate limiter on, thanks to Rivet Tuner. And what we're gonna see here is that the loading screen is tied to the frame rate. So, as you should be able to see, my CPU will drop performance in a few seconds. My GPU will stop working, and the loading will continue for about 5 minutes before it finally loads the game. So basically my system is well, stopping to work, and we're working on this for a minute now. So yeah, I'll just keep on talking so you can see that this isn't cut or frozen or whatever. It's just that the frame rate is limited. So I'm gonna record a second part. I'm gonna reboot in a few seconds. Well, reboot. I'm gonna restart the game after it's loaded. I'm gonna unlock the frame rate, and you'll see the huge difference in loading time. And I'm just reproducing this because people apparently don't believe that someone would be as foolish as to tie the loading screen to the frame rate. The game is obviously done loading. Yet, here we are, waiting for it to actually load the game. So, yeah. So, I've been in contact with Bethesda support for about a week about this issue and about the regular crashes to desktop. Now they say they fixed the crashes to desktop. They did so in update 2. Yeah, people are still complaining that they're happening because, well, apparently the Void engine is just a broken piece of mess. Yeah, piece of shit. Broken mess. I don't know. Sorry, English isn't my first language, so pardon me. Oh, right, that's it. I was wondering why my CPU was this busy and my GPU as well. But that's obviously because I'm recording. So I'm gonna just read this out. I'm using OBS 18.01, that's OBS Studio, and it's recording, it's using 12-13% of my CPU. Normally my GPU isn't doing anything during this part, so I've also turned on hardware support for recording, and that's probably the percentage you're seeing right now. I'm just checking to be sure. I fucked up because the last recommendation suggestion I got from Bethesda was to disable my secondary graphics card because that was, according to them, causing the issue. But well, I'm about to prove that they're wrong. So out of all the suggestions they gave me, only one was semi useful, and that was doing a clean boot, turning off all the background surfaces, etc., etc., etc. Allows the game to perform quite a bit better. But because I don't really have any performance issues with the game, I don't really have to do that. I'm playing on a locked 30 FPS because I have older hardware. I'm running this on an FX 8150 that I OC'd to 4 GHz. And my graphics card is an R9 290, the Asus OC edition. It's DirectCU2 OC, something like that. Basically, it's a system that I built about 5 years ago, and it's still doing pretty well. I upgraded the graphics card at one point within the last 5 years, obviously, because the R9 290, I don't think it's 5 years old already. Maybe it is, but still. So I kind of have to cap the frame rate so that my system can run it at decent settings and and it doesn't overheat. Also, quite a few of the mechanics in the game are tied to your frame rate. So if you have fluctuating frame rate, that's in any game very annoying. But in this game, it's even worse because your mouse sensitivity is directly tied to your frame rate. If you have a higher frame rate, the sensitivity goes down. So if you have fluctuating frame rate, it's just really, it's infuriating to play like that. So we're about to hit the 6-minute mark. I'm not quite sure when we started loading, but I'm guessing that was around 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds into the video. So you see here 5 minutes, plus minus 5 minutes, and we're about done. So I'm gonna just close the game as soon as we're in, so that I can then run it with an unlocked frame rate. And again, I'm using Rivet Tuner to lock the frame rate. It's within the game I have the locked frame rate as well, but the frame limiter in the game only applies to actual gameplay and not to the loading screen, and that's the major problem here. We're seeing a loading screen that's locked to the frame rate, and the frame rate is limited by third-party software instead of, well, okay. So here we go. We're in, and the game runs pretty well. I have absolutely no issues with the game running. Obviously, we're seeing more CPU and GPU usage right now, because I'm recording this as well. So I'm gonna exit and I'm gonna unlock the frame rate, and then we'll be right back. And we're loading the exact same thing. I'm not saving anything. So just don't drop the video. I'm still here. I'm just opening Rivet Tuner now. That's not Rivet Tuner. That's Crimson. So I'm gonna unlock the frame rate. Done. And we're gonna reboot the game. Pew pew. Pew pew. So there we go. You see it's still 30 FPS in here. That's weird though. I unlock this. Oh, maybe that's the frame limiter of the game itself. We'll have to check that. So all I did now, and I'm gonna alt tab just to make sure, and the game is still running in the background. All I did now, let's see, Dishonored 2, frame rate target control. Oh, I had to disable that again because for some reason Crimson was still limiting frame rate target control. So that's unlocked now. The frame rate limiter in Rivet Tuner is unlocked, and now we're going back into the game. So the game, oops, has this option right here. This one. So I've turned off VSync so that I can set the frame limiter. Now that's done, and if all goes well, I should be able to show you that. I have to redo this shit. Might be that Crimson is still locking the frame rate because I've only unlocked it within Crimson after booting the game. So if that's the case, I'm gonna, nope, there we go. As you can see, all I did was unlock the frame rate in RTSS and Crimson, and then we're here. So the bar is full, obviously, but just give it a second. I'm not quite sure what's happening now. Did the game crash? Ah, there we go. So, as you can see, it's a huge difference whether or not you have third-party software locking the frame rate. And the game runs just as fine with the in-game frame limiter, but this is just crazy. This just shows how poor the execution of this game was. When frame rate plays this much of a role in the performance of the game, it's just ridiculous. Who in his right mind would program an engine or a game to have the loading screen tied to the frame rate? I don't get it, but apparently it's a thing these days. So, thanks for watching and have a great day. If you didn't know yet, Dishonored 2 is free to try on Steam. They released the first 3 missions as a demo. Obviously, I already bought it before that news was announced, but still, if you're interested in games like this, definitely pick it up. It's a pretty fun game, except for the technical issues. But that's why you have to pick up the demo and try it out for yourself, see how your system works with this game. Thanks for watching again, and have a great day.